Welcome back to Astrology, Angels, and More. We have a very interesting show tonight, but before we start on the topics that we're going to be talking about tonight, I would like to start off the show with giving a special thanks to our producer and director, Brian LaPayower. And the reason that I would like to do that is because without him, this show would not be possible. And he had asked me if I would, as a special request, mention that April is Autism Awareness Month. And that's very, very important. And I would appreciate it if anyone who would like to learn more about autism and have a better understanding about it and all the different levels of the spectrum, I think that perhaps you should go on some nice websites and really get a good understanding about it. Okay, so also I would like to wish you all a blessed Passover. Today is April the 1st, 2021. And also, happy Easter to everyone who celebrates Easter. So now, this show tonight is all about new beginnings. And in reference to that, I'm going to be talking about a very important astrological aspect that's happening. Actually, on April the 11th, it's pretty important, and I'm going to show you that chart. Now, first of all, though, what I'd like to talk about is, I want to wish everybody an Aries, every Aries out there, a happy, happy birthday. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, and Mars is its ruling planet. Red is your lucky color, Aries. Aries can be independent, impulsive, pioneering, self-reliant, and direct, very direct. And, an Aries gets things done very quickly. While you're still thinking about doing something, they'll already have it done. And this applies to anyone who has the rising sign of Aries or the sun sign of Aries. Now, diamond and pyrite are Aries gems. There's something else about Aries. Aries are natural-born leaders. Natural-born leaders. A lot of CEOs are Aries. Now, April the 11th. This is pretty big and important here astrologically. That's the Aries new moon on April the 11th. And it carries with it a lot of feminine energy, bringing about a sisterly kind of an energy around the world. Now, that doesn't just apply to women, okay? It's just a very feminine, loving kind of an energy. But this new moon urges us to focus more on being more patient, giving the gentler side of ourselves to others. And this great Aries stellium of Chiron, Mercury, Sirius, the Sun, the Moon, Venus, all lined up together. This is a time to think about the nourishing parts of your life and leave behind you on this new moon anything that is not of your higher good. Any new moon, you can do that, but especially this Aries stellium. It's all about bright, new, beautiful beginnings. The aspects of the moon and Mars suggests a collaboration with all people all over the world joining in. This is a time of progress and learning. This is all due to a heightened sensitivity. So be alert to your inner child and do a lot of chakra balancing at this time, right around that new moon, whenever possible, such as using energy medicines such as Reiki, or even the reconnection, or just relaxing and thinking about all your energy centers spinning in the perfect way, bringing light into every one of your chakras. It's as simple as that. Now, I'd like to show you a chart of this Aries stellium that I'm talking about. Brian, could you please put it up on the screen? Now, as you see there, this new moon actually takes place on April the 11th, like I had mentioned before, at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, if you notice where the yellow is down on the right-hand lower part of your screen, look at all those Aries planets lined up. Brand new, beautiful beginnings. Then we have some conjunctions with Taurus. This is all great stuff. And where it's falling is actually in the 5th house of love and creativity. Thank you, Brian. You could take it down now if you don't mind. Thank you very much. And so the reason that this is so important is because we're in the age of Aquarius right now, which is a huge beginning to start with. But now all these Aries planets, Aries is number one. Aries is all about new beginnings. So when you see all those Aries planets working together, it's enormous collaboration of humanity. That's really what I'm feeling here. And it's the opportunity for you to start anew in any way that you really wish to do. Just let go of all that stuff that doesn't serve you anymore. Seriously, people in your life maybe that are not serving your higher good. Just break those ties, let them go, cut the cords, let it go. Now, on April 26th, we have the Scorpio full moon, and it forms a powerful T-square, giving it a heavy feel about it. So you're going to feel a heavy bit of heavy energy at the end of April. But that's only because this moon is also in opposition to the Sun, Uranus, Venus, Mercury, and also the black moon Lilith. Now, that's all in Taurus. Don't let that scare you. Don't let that scare you at all, because this is the time of deep emotional healing of scars and or physical pain. So it's a very good opportunity. And but support will be coming from Saturn in Aquarius, helping us to stay strong throughout this karmic period, because it is a balancing of karmic at that time, at the end of this month. This is a time of deep experiences to balance karma and to help us rise in the ascension process. And if you notice behind me, we have the beautiful Phoenix rising. I thought that that would be a perfect background tonight for the new beginnings, for the rising, because your soul is rising to the moment in a beautiful way. Now, on April 27th at 4:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time through October the 6th, 2021, It's going to be intensifying our drive to do something significant, to make a difference during that period of time. And this will free us from any feudal ties and move us onto a new and better path to success. The reason that is because Pluto will be turning retrograde. And it's going to give you a very good opportunity to seriously, your input, each individual's input into this world globally will make a difference to turn things around. Make your significant difference. Make your contribution. It's needed. This is why you're here on this earth at this time. You chose to be here on this earth at this time in order to contribute and to be able to balance all karma in a beautiful, 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 beautiful way. Now, I'd like to introduce my guest, my very special guest. He's been on this show before, a couple of times before, but it's been a while now. And I would like to introduce my son, my special guest, Daniel Irizarry.
Thank you for having me.
Hi, how you doing, Dan?
I'm doing great.
Yeah, I'm so happy you were able to make this show tonight, especially about this topic.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's an exciting time.
Yeah, because you brought your Phoenix with you, didn't you?
Yes, the Phoenix and I have a long relationship, and it's a very special artifact. The Phoenix actually right there on the table.
Yeah.
Near and dear to my heart.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What does the Phoenix represent to you? What?
Yeah, so in my life, I went through some ups and downs, as most people do in their life, and the Phoenix came to me at a time where I was at a low point in my life, and when I was able to connect and resonate with not only the Phoenix, but going through some other items that we may be covering later in the show. That rebirth energy is tremendous, and what I love about the Phoenix is that you can be at any moment in your life, and any given moment, find it within inside of you to start from the beginning, to begin anew. And I know that this is the time to be doing that. However, when you look at the beauty of what that new beginning can truly bring, it can be breathtaking. As breathtaking as this background is, my goodness, I love the Phoenix that we have represented behind us.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, it's rebirth. It's new beginnings. I have a few, I wrote down, well, actually, I have a few of these symbolic meanings of the Phoenix, what it means to people, what it has meant for thousands of years. I mean, all the way back to the Egyptians, because the Egyptians, they equivalated the Phoenix with the sun, but it's life and it's magic and it's clarity. And it's rebirth, renewal, longevity, creativity, protection, immortality, resurrection, reemergence, transformation. These are all symbols of the Phoenix. And if the Phoenix comes into your life, this is what it's about. Then you're receiving Phoenix Totem Medicine. And you can just simply Google that. And just look up Phoenix Totem Medicine. If you're finding that you're feeling a connection here by watching this show in reference to starting a new beginning or interested in more of an understanding about the Phoenix energy, you should just Google it. Because that means that the Phoenix is playing a big part in your life now. And the Phoenix is here right now on this earth in order to help everyone be bring about global healing. I see you have a globe here. I see you have, yeah, very nice. That's a nice one, Dan. And so why did you bring that tonight?
You said that the theme of the show was going to be the resurrection of the phoenix.
Right.
And when you think about the time of year that we're in with Passover and Easter, and we're also in the time of this resurrection of the phoenix, I feel that the entire planet Earth has gone through such a tremendous year over the past year and some change.
Yes.
As we all continue to move through this global pandemic. And I feel what better time to represent the world than when we're going through this healing change, this new beginning, this rebirth of creativity in this world. So I am so happy to have the Earth represented as we all continue onward into the age of Aquarius.
Yes, absolutely. Well, yeah, I mean, it's pretty awesome the way, as I've said many times before, I view the planets and astrology as God's clock. And for God to have lined up all those planets in Aries like that in order to help us right now find a new beginning here for the Earth. It's really, really very prevalent.
Well, it's funny. I feel like it might have been right around the last time I was on the show. We were talking about the Great Conjunction, right? Mm-hmm. And when you look at how the planets are aligned during certain aspects of history, if you will, on Earth, to see that Aries alignment, I mean, it connected so well with me.
Yes.
I have no problem sharing this. My rising sign is in Aries.
Yeah.
And what I understand your rising sign to be, to tell the audience that may not understand what the difference between a sun sign and a rising sign is, your rising sign is really your perception is reality, right? So your rising sign is really how people perceive you on first interaction, not who you are at your core as a human being and what really drives and motivates you, but necessarily more so how they perceive you on first interaction with you.
That's right. Absolutely correct.
As people will say, oh, you haven't met me, you've met my representative. My representative is Aries. That Aries rising, that I connect so well with it. So when you see this stellium of Aries planets coming into sway,
oh, yeah.
it's beautiful to me.
Yes.
I connect very well with a lot of Aries.
Yeah, it's beautiful. The energy of that, because it's all fire energy. This is all fire energy. And any of you Aries out there, okay, Aries sun sign or Aries rising, or even if your moon is in Aries, but especially the sun sign and the rising sign, oh man, oh man, oh man, you have some really good luck on your side right now because you're going to have all brand new opportunities coming your way. And, the whole world is experiencing this, but especially anyone with Aries. Now with the sun transiting through the constellation of Aries every year, it is a brand new beginning because Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. So it's always a great time for changes in our lives and new beginnings. And I wanted to mention, too, in reference to, in order to help you with these wonderful new beginnings in your life, why don't you just try calling upon or saying a prayer to the most powerful angel of them all. And that is Archangel Metatron, who is in charge of new beginnings. This is Metatron right here. Okay, that's a statue that I have of Metatron. But you can look him up. He's a very interesting angel. And he's just waiting in the wings to help energize you and empower you to move forward with lightning speed in your life. All you need to do is say, Metatron, please help me. And he'll instantaneously be there. Metatron is the tallest and strongest angel in heaven and will many times appear as a large, fiery pillar of red. He is said to sit at the throne of God and to be the heavenly scribe. He's the one who is in charge of writing all the events of our lives and of the earth in the books of the Akashic Records. The Akashic Records is where all events and knowledge is kept. Archangel Metatron is an incarnate angel that once walked this earth as a scribe by the name of Enoch, before he was taken to heaven by Archangel Michael and Archangel Gabriel and shown all the heavenly planes. God then turned him into the scribe of the heavens and gave him wings and great heavenly wisdom of the many secrets, even the secret of creation. Now, some of Archangel Metatron's duties are also that of helping with children's issues, especially autism, ADD or ADHD, energizing you to stop procrastination. He helps you ease grief, transforming a painful death to a peaceful one. Call upon Archangel Metatron, helping you find peace during times of crisis and deepening your connection to spirit. So now I'd like to talk a little bit more about Metatron with Daniel, because Daniel also has a very special affiliation with Metatron. He's worked with him many times. Daniel, what would you like to say about Metatron?
Well, there's so much I would love to say about Metatron. To start, and I'm not sure, not sure, I believe I know where you're going with this, but to start, I want to say that with Metatron, my favorite thing about him is that when you think of the army of angels that exists, he is really like the CEO, the general in the background, really commanding the troops. I know that Michael leads the charge with Uriel right by his side. However, what you have to respect and love about Metatron is that he's right there coordinating everything that's occurring. The second thing I love about Metatron is that you said this before, he walked on this earth.
Yes.
And was blessed with the ability and gift to ascend and find out a lot of the answers to life's mysteries. So it's a very powerful image if you think about a man truly, gaining his wings, or a human being. It doesn't have to be a man or woman, gaining their wings and ascending into that beauty of heaven. I think it's so tremendous.
Beautiful, Daniel.
Yeah, and when we think about the work that you can leverage Metatron's expertise in, dealing with folks that have ADD, ADHD. I myself tend to have a lack of focus at times when I'm trying to ground myself on this earthly plane and focus on the tedious items that can exist in everyone's day-to-day life. So Metatron and I have a special relationship in that regard.
Yes.
But then also, whenever working with anyone that has special needs, the children of the world as well, I feel you can really connect and resonate with Metatron's energy, and his guidance can help steady your hand when dealing with anything of a sensitive nature when it comes to working with someone that might have a disability, if you will,
yes,
as listed in your notes.
Yes.
So Metatron, to me, being that captain of angels, if you will, it really holds a special place in my heart.
Yeah, well, Metatron, the reason that I also wanted to speak about Metatron tonight, I felt that it was perfect was because April is Autism Month, Autism Awareness Month, and also that Metatron is the one that can really create change in your life. He's the one when you want to start something new.
Yeah, so
he's the one.
The core of my love for Metatron really has to do with, I'll say my rebirth and my beginning. When I was dealing with my own issues, I called upon Metatron and went through the reconnection process.
Yes.
And really feel that event in my life changed me for the better and helped me evolve to a higher level of understanding, vibration, and thinking as we all adapt and overcome the obstacles in our life on a daily basis.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'd like to explain to the audience then about the reconnection. What the reconnection is, I do the reconnection for people. I did the reconnection for Daniel and a lot of other people. I have had the reconnection. What that is, and there's also reconnective healing, but the reconnection is a once in a lifetime. Now, what that is all the meridians on your body, like an acupuncturist puts little needles in the different meridians, the different energy points on your body. Okay. And what the reconnection is taking all those meridians, and those are the ley lines on your body. Just like there's ley lines on the earth, there's ley lines up in the star system, and reconnecting your energies, your meridians to the meridians of the star system and of the earth, the ley lines. And boy, when that happens, I have to tell you, I have seen person after person, including myself. So, I mean, many years ago, the first time oh my goodness. So when I experienced the reconnection and I had the reconnection, it changed my life. And at that time, I worked with Metatron. So anyone who ever comes to see me for a reconnection, I always suggest that they work with Archangel Metatron and with something else, which I'm sure you remember that, Daniel.
Yeah. So the token, if you will, that I used and harnessed its energy, if you will, is multivite. And we've talked about on your show before multivite,
Yes.
but multivite specifically with the reconnection, because the power of this stone, and this, I don't have that stone with me today, and there's a reason for that. Because the power of that stone can be so tremendous that if you're at a low in your life, and you're trying to create a change, think about a circle. So as you're going through your change and you're coming to, I'll say 180 degrees of where you originally were, if you continue to work with multivite and continue to harness that energy, at some point you will pass that center and go back down to where you were in a much faster fashion, in my opinion, in working with multivite. Mm-hmm. So I try to leverage the energy of multivite, and as my mother taught me, you know when you no longer need that multivite in your life, and you do store it away and not leverage that in your day-to-day life. Whereas when you are making that dramatic change, I'll literally wear it around my neck and have it right next to me, next to my heart. So, it is a very powerful stone that doesn't come from the planet Earth. So, there's a lot of information that you can find, as Mom said, online when looking up multivite.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Very powerful.
It does not come from the planet Earth. And Brian, do you have that picture of the multivite so people could see what it looks like? Thank you. That's multivite. It isn't like it's a beautiful, beautiful stone, but it's very powerful. Okay, thank you, Brian.
One other thing I wanted to add is that, what you were mentioning about the reconnection is the ley lines, right? So the average
Right.
viewer may not know what are ley lines, and it's funny in this globe that I have. If you notice, and on most globes, you see the lines across the planet as if we're on a grid, right? So you see these grid
Yes,
lines that exist.
exactly.
So these grid lines on every globe and on every map, aside from a longitude and latitude measurement, can symbolize the ley lines of the earth.
Yes, yes, such as in Peru, there's ley lines there. All the energy where the pyramids are in Egypt, that's where ley lines are very powerful. There's power centers on the earth. And so, yeah, that's the grids that are on the earth. And then up in the heavens, the stars, the stationary stars, are the grid lines of the universe, of the heavens. And then we have grid lines on our body, which is the meridians on your body.
Right.
All over your body, there's little power points. Yeah. So, and we just get reconnected to the Earth's energy, the Mother Earth's energy, and to the star system from where we came
Beautiful.
with the
Beautiful.
star people. I mean, really, this is who we are. We are the star people. I mean, we could really get into that. But there's something else that I just wanted to mention in between here about Venus, because your daughter Ava, when my granddaughter, Daniel's daughter Ava, both his children are very interested in the star system,
So if I could,
metaphysics.
I always say whenever anyone asks me about John and Ava, I say, my son is brilliant. He'll build a rocket ship that'll get, further than anything that anyone's built. And I always say, John will build the rocket ship to the stars, and Ava will fly it. So the two of them have that juxtaposed energy that creates a lot of beauty and beautiful things. And when we focus on different aspects of the world, I love to study and research in two key areas, and that's time and space. And I think that's what you're leading into. Is that right?
Well, no, but you can right now. It was some other information that Ava gave me that she felt that our audience would really appreciate.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
That's more of space.
Yeah.
And this is,
Yeah. So here it is. This is from my granddaughter Ava, and as I said, she's this. She just asked she said, your audience would really appreciate knowing this. So, she gave me a list from April 1st through April 7th when Venus will be out that you'll be able to see it. So, Venus is the morning star and the evening star. That's how Venus is known. And Venus is the planet of love, but you'll be able to see it at sunrise and sunset. So all you have to do is look up the times of sunrise and sunset, such as today, on April 1st, it was the sun rose at 6:55 and it set at 7:30 p.m. And you'll be able to see, it looks like a star, but it's actually Venus. And I suggest that you look in there on the internet, and you could see what time that you'll be able to see it visible, and you can get some more information about that, because you can make a wish on that beautiful star of Venus. And especially, it's a planet actually, but it looks like a star up in the heavens. And you can make a wish, especially about anything you'd like to create in your life or to bring love into your life. That's really great, right? So, but a fun fact that Ava wanted me to mention was that Venus absorbs 70% of the sunlight that touches its surface. And also, Venus, back in the ancient times of Greece and the Egyptians, they thought that Venus was two objects, the morning star and the evening star. That's what they thought. But as we know now, Venus is actually one planet. But I just wanted to share that with you because, our family is a very metaphysical family, very spiritual family. I came from a spiritual family. I grew up in a spiritual family. And my children and my grandchildren are both very interested in especially the planets and space. And Johnny had mentioned something when we were talking to Ava in reference to time and the things that he comes up with. Oh my God, I gotta tell you.
Yeah. So my son John is brilliant, and when we were talking about how they could potentially even help us with the show, when I tell you the areas that I want to focus on and where I find myself in my spare time, doing some research and finding out information about things, it circles around and always seems to fall into either time or space. And when you think about all things, they all fall into one or the other. Mm-hmm. So when I think about everything that you just read, that Ava beautifully wrote about the planet Venus, I think of space. Here, I asked my son John to talk to me about time, and what John wrote, I'm gonna read it to you. It's very short, but right to the point. And he calls it Time by Daniel Irizarry. Have you ever wanted to time travel? If so, think about this. You time traveled to fix a mistake. You fix it, but you don't need to time travel anymore. So you would have never fixed it unless you would have then destroyed the fabric of time. So time is very complex.
Yes.
And I love the way he closed that with, so time is very complex. And, when you think about the different layers and aspects of time and the studies that have been done about time, he kind of hits the nail on the head with how complicated, when you really study time, how complicated it truly can be. As far as we know, time travel doesn't exist, right?
I believe it does. Well, I know for sure it does, even with past life regression. But go ahead. What were you going to say?
So when you think about if we can live in that moment just for a moment and say, okay, we're in this alternate reality, if we can't accept that it's the one we're in now, it's this alternate reality that time travel truly exists. If that were the case, how dangerous of a game can we play once we start to manipulate the fabric of time? That's what John's getting at.
Yes.
In his message, that time can be very, very complex.
Yeah, when Daniel says that John is brilliant, he's not just saying that because he's his son. He really is. He has a very high IQ. And some of the conversations that we end up having, it's just absolutely amazing. But you and I would sit and talk about this many times in reference to time and space. And, especially I love talking about that with you, Daniel, because you have such a really good concept of it. Do you feel that we're able to time travel, Daniel?
Well, to put me on the spot,
Yeah.
I'll say,
yes, me.
So when it comes to the realm of possibilities, absolutely, in my opinion, time travel is well within the realm of possibilities.
Right.
Having said that, I don't know how to do it. Maybe someone else more knowledgeable knows how, but I don't know how.
Well,
Please don't reach out to me
no.
asking me to travel through time.
Oh, wow. You know, when I was a kid, there was a show out called The Time Tunnel that I used to watch. And oh my goodness, I looked forward to that so much because that's what they would do. They would go back in time. But see, the whole thing is that the way that I look at time as though moments. Each moment is precious, seriously precious. And you have to appreciate each moment. And you can't just let them go by.
It's good to stop and smell the roses.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, see, with time, you know, I would say in the past year or so, I felt like time was moving a lot faster than I wanted it to,
Yes.
which meant that you know I could tend to be late for an event, you know, like the rabbit down in Alice in Wonderland, right? I'm late. So what I did is I have a little trick. I was telling you know. Someone recently entered into my life through work, and his name's Tom. I was telling Tom today, I said, you know, one of the things I do with my watch, I set it 2 hours ahead so that hopefully I won't be late for an important date. So, you know, time can be very complex.
Yes, time can be very complex. Well, you know, I mean, like on Ancient Aliens and things like that, they show, or, you know, I mean, you read a lot of books about it and stuff, where, like in Peru, there's these images of that are made with the lines that you can see all the way from like really far up.
Mm-hmm.
And they were made, though, you know, how many thousands of years ago. And there's one of someone that looks like they have on a space helmet and all of that, you know, like an astronaut.
Sure.
And so, you know, it goes through my mind that perhaps we have already gone back in time, and then the ones that saw us then made a record of that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah,
I
and
understand your
thought
thought
of
process.
them as being an alien when we were just coming back. We were just going back in time.
Yep.
On the earth. I mean, you know, there's a
theory.
lot of things you can think about that, but time has sped up, and that's for sure. And the reason why is because we're very close to the galactic center. We're getting closer and closer to the galactic center. That's why time has been speeding up more and more and more.
So is it that the planet Earth is revolving or spinning faster? Or is it that the sun around the Earth is spinning faster? Or
the Earth is actually moving closer.
Regardless of the spin, it's moving closer.
Right. It's moving closer to the galactic center through space.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
I know.
So it's almost like, you know, if we set clocks back, you know, spring ahead and fall back.
Right.
You know, with I wonder if the Farmer's Almanac adjusts to getting closer to the galactic center.
I don't know, Daniel. I don't know. No, well, that's a good point, because at one point they were saying there were people saying that the astrological signs were off because of that.
Really?
That's one of the yeah, really, seriously. I remember that a lot of years back.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, time and space. You know, I see that you have there two books.
Yeah, so I did bring 2 books. So one of them is the Holy Bible.
Yes.
And this has been in the family on Michelle's side. And it's the new international version with helps, Words of Christ in red letter. It's the Holy Bible, and you know, it's got a beautiful picture inside of it. So I figured I'd just read the inside cover, if that's okay.
Sure.
He tends his flock like a shepherd. He gathers the lambs in his arms and carries them close to his heart. He gently leads those that have young. Isaiah 40:11. And why I love that quote and the picture is the protection if you believe that that Jesus Christ is putting on people, and regardless of your belief, knowing that if there is a higher power at work, that higher power is there to protect. Can tend to bring some solace to people's lives. But at the time of both Passover and Easter, I felt it only prevalent that, there's nothing wrong with being a little closer to God.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What better symbolism than Jesus Christ than, when we're talking about the phoenix?
It's Holy Thursday, and which in the Christian religion belief, Holy Thursday is the day of the Last Supper and the washing of the feet. A lot of people don't understand what the washing of the feet meant, but Jesus had washed the apostles' feet before they had the Last Supper in order to show that he was humble and that he was with them and part of them. And so anyway, and then of course tomorrow is Good Friday. And, but the phoenix to me is representation of ascension, of rising again, of resurrection. And the resurrection that we celebrate on Easter Sunday is that of Jesus Christ. So we're all children of God, and I love that picture inside your Bible there, Daniel, because it's the truth, and he's here for all of us, and this very holy time of the year, very holy time of the year. What?
The other book that I have here, you were asking me about the books I brought. So the other book I have is The Lost Key to Prediction. The Arabic Parts in Astrology by Robert Zoller. And, what I love about this book is that it takes you back to the way that things were taught at a much earlier time. I mean, the way things are taught today is a little different than the way things were taught in the past. And I feel that, if you study the planets and study time,
right,
then perhaps this is true that you can predict. And if you believe that you can predict, then that means you can plan. If you knew that it was going to rain outside, would you pack an umbrella? If you knew that it was going to be a beautiful day, would you plan a barbecue? If you knew that it was going to be a blizzard, would you shelter in place? And that's where I feel that having the ability to plan ahead is important. And if we've had the ability to do so, then I think we should study that and see how far that goes.
That's my love of astrology, right there. You really summed it up, and that's why people come to me for astrological readings, so that I can predict for them when a good time is to go on a trip, when they should play the lottery, that's what most people want to know, things like that. But it's good to have a good understanding about astrology generally. I feel that everyone should. It can really help with their lives. And, if you're reading your horoscope and you're saying, oh, well, it's not making sense. I mean, I'm a Gemini, and boy, that doesn't sound like me when you look up your horoscope. It's because maybe you're a Gemini sun sign, but you have all these other planets that are in different placements in your stars, on your chart. And, you should know your rising sign, which, like Daniel mentioned before, that's dependent upon your time of birth. And your rising sign is very important to know when you are reading your horoscope, like even in the newspaper. So if you already know your rising sign, read your rising sign, then read the sun sign, put them both together, and then it'll start making a lot of sense for you.
So what you're saying is that, like a good friend of mine, he's like a brother, Israel, his birthday was just the other day on March 30th. And for someone like him, if he looks at his time of birth and also obviously knowing the day of his birth is his sun sign, but the time is where he can tell what his rising sign is. And if he were looking for guidance and understanding and maybe reading his horoscope for Aries and saying, well, that jives with a lot that's going on in my life, but maybe it's missing some things.
Right.
If he were to read his rising sign horoscope, the two combined
Yes.
would create more clarification on what perhaps the universe has in store.
Right, and all that is where the sun was rising, at that particular time of day.
Which is why they call it your rising sun.
Exactly,
Rising
where
of
the
the sun.
sun was on the horizon when you were born, that particular time. So astrology is extremely, extremely accurate. And you had mentioned that you had been on my show when we were talking about
The Great Conjunction.
Right.
Yes.
And then you look back, even in reference to what was coming up with the pandemic, that was all those Capricorn planets that were all bunched up together like that. When there's a big conjunction of planets, which is a stellium like that means that there's changes that are going on in our world.
So can we bring that chart up again?
Oh, if Brian can.
Because
Brian?
in the chart, what maybe the viewers might have seen, I'm not sure. Yeah, so in the chart, it's all of those, I call them ram heads, but it's the sign of Aries, right?
Right.
And when we see all those different planets, and is it that how does that work? How do you communicate that to the audience that it's in each house or planet?
Yeah. Well, I did this chart for 10:30 p.m. on April the 11th because that's when it's exact. That's
Okay.
when the sun and the moon in the sign of Aries will be at 22 degrees.
And what does that yield? Because I find it funny that it's April 11th, the 411, if you will.
There you go. Yeah, go ahead.
So when we look for information, at least in the day and age I grew up in, before all the smart devices,
411.
you would dial 411 and you would get information. So on April 11th, Information Day, if you will, what information does the universe have for us?
Well, what this shows is the all those planets that are in Aries, okay? Each one of those planets does something different. Like Mercury, it's your thinking. The moon is your emotions. The sun is your energies. Venus is your love and your desire. When you take all those planets, each one of them have a different aspect of your life, and you put them all together, how can you not have a change? How can you not have a shift? It's really about a shift.
Right.
And some people understand about energy shifts and some people don't. So that's why I usually don't go too deep into that. But what's been happening is we've been having shifts of energy that are bringing us and the whole planet to a higher level of ascension.
Wow. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful time to be alive.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But it's also that we have a responsibility that we have chosen to be born at this time. And that's what I was talking about before, that we all need to look inside ourselves and say, how can I make a significant difference in this world? And how can I help my fellow man and woman?
Well, then, I'd be remiss then not to talk about the fact that we said earlier, times have been a little tougher than most. When we look at modern history, right? I mean, we're not hiding behind the fact that we're still getting through a global pandemic, and when you think about how the hope needs to be there when times are dark, right? When it seems that hope could potentially be lost, and life is a little more challenging. You have to fight a little harder each day just to get out of bed, let alone accomplish the tasks.
Right.
I would say that is the biggest thing. Start that momentum make that effort to begin anew at this time. What better time than ever? And really focus that energy that you know is laying there dormant inside you, waiting in the ashes of your soul, if you will, to rise like the phoenix above and shatter past any of the boundaries that have existed in your way before, and really blossom and shine in this world, in this age of Aquarius. The great conjunction has occurred. I mean, what a time to be alive. We chose to be here right now. So if it's a little harder than other days, we need to fight through that and stay the course towards a positive new beginning in our lives.
Yes, Daniel, that's very motivating, the way that you just described that, because what's happening is that on the other side of all this effort and energy and everything, is a better world for all.
That's beautiful.
For all our brothers and our sisters, because that's what we really are. We're all brothers and sisters, and we all have to love one another and take care of one another. And with this energy, I have to tell you, in reference to this particular new moon, I would suggest, many times I suggest going to the water. And there's a new moon ceremony you can do with the water that I've talked about on other shows. However, with all this fire energy, you should be working with, if you do fire ceremony, wow, do fire ceremony. If you know how to do that, you understand how to do that, then do that.
Be careful.
But be very careful. But, well, I'm talking to people that are shamans, etc.
Okay.
But in reference to even just light a candle, and get a toothpick, even a little toothpick and a candle, that's all you need. And on the new moon, anything that you would like to rid yourself of in your life that's upsetting you or bothering you, or if you want to make a wish and blow into that toothpick, a wish that you want to bring into your life, anything new, just blow it right into the little toothpick and put it in the fire and let the toothpick burn. Okay, this is the time of the phoenix. This is the time of the fire. This is all the energy we've been waiting for to start a new, bright, beautiful beginning for all of us. I really appreciated you coming to the show tonight, Daniel. You had so much to contribute. I mean, I have to tell you, I always get people come back and tell me how much they enjoy the motivating talk that you give to them.
Well, we're all in this together. When you think about we were talking about earlier with the reconnection and the ley lines on planet Earth and centering yourself, harnessing the energy, we're all connected. So just like in the human body, there's a bunch of cells that make up the body, and they're all working together in unison to move and live your body and move forward. That's how we are on Earth. Each human being, we're all connected. And when you see that connection and that beauty, help each other, work together, love one another.
And you can view this program on Sunday evenings at 9 o'clock on channel 75, 79, and also on YouTube. You can find all the programs on YouTube. They're up there under the name of Astrology, Angels, and More, Mary Silvernail. So thank you so much, and I'm sending you all bright new beginning blessings. Many, many, many bright blessings. All that beautiful energy to you. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you.